All right. So welcome everybody. Our topic this week is going to be choosing the right social media platform for your business. So choosing, it's a question I get all the time. What platform should I use? And it's often the short answer is which one you're comfortable with. But really, it really boils down to a couple of different things. We want to know, number one, again, what platform you are comfortable with. That's important, but it's also important to know where your audience is hanging out, the type of content that you're going to be presenting. There's a lot of different factors. So that's why I wanted to go over this today and kind of give you some ideas on what factors go into choosing the right content and the right platform for you. So let me go ahead and share my screen. And we will get going. So choosing the right platform, it really, I watched a webinar I guess it was yesterday actually, on social media trends by one of the Hootsuite's, one of the platforms that I use all the time. They're a great resource and they're a great aggregator program. Those of you that have been in my classes before know that I talk about Hootsuite a lot, and the fact that it's a place where you can actually schedule content. I have been using Hootsuite. I see Pam's on the webinar today. Pam, you remember me teaching that back in the Tucson social media lab days back 10, 12 years ago. So, and I've been using it ever since, and that's why the program that I have gives me a lot more stuff than you can get if you sign up today, because I'm grandfathered in, and it's so anyway, they did a webinar that they did one early in the year that talked about 2020 trends. And so they revisited those trends for July or through July, obviously with quite a bit of different results, because nobody predicted we would close down for months and then business would be, changed drastically. But it's still interesting to see the social media use around the world. Almost 4 billion active social media users globally. And of those, so 51% of the population are social media users. So that audience continues to grow. The annual growth in the total number of social media users was up 10%. So 376 million added in the past 12 months. And interestingly enough, not surprising, 3.9 billion, 91 billion of the 3.96 billion access their social media from their phones. So 99% of all social media users are using their mobile devices. So it gives you sort of the, do we put consistent effort into our social media? Is it still a viable tool? Obviously, with 4 billion people on there, it's definitely viable. So for that reason, then it's how do we choose where to put our efforts? Because there are so many. I mean, good grief, we've got 5 major platforms. We've got Facebook, Instagram, we've got LinkedIn, we've got YouTube, and we've got Twitter. We have, various others. We've got Pinterest and now the new upstart TikTok. So there's, Snapchat. I mean, there's a ton of different places where you can put your efforts. And if you try to be utilizing all of those, you're going to, number one, be very ineffective. And number two, you're going to spend all of your time working social media and none of the time actually doing your business. So what do we use? Is there a right platform or a wrong platform to use? Well, it really starts by understanding your business personality, because that's really that's one of the key factors. Is what is your business? Not only what do you do, obviously that's a key factor, but what is the personality of your business? Are you do you have a relaxed personality? Do you have a very rigid and highbrow type of approach? Are you very straight-laced and financial oriented? Are you kind of quirky and fun? I mean, it really depends on your personality, and you start by understanding what that is, and don't try to change your business model to something that you're not. And you've heard me say that before, because it's that insincerity that happens when you try to be something that you're not. You don't create that connection with your audience the same way. Personality is about making a lasting impression. You can jump on social media and post and yell about whatever it is that you do, but if the personality is not there and doesn't reflect you, then nobody remembers you. Show people the human side of your business. We all want to do business. We're not Coca-Cola. We're not a Nike. We're not a huge brand name. And as such, we are really trying to focus our brand on being who we are. And so letting people into the human side of your business is really important. I mean, I can't tell you how many comments I get from people going, well, hope you have a good weekend in the pool with your glass of wine. That's because that's where they see me a lot on, social media posts. I mean, I've posted that more than once. You guys know that. And so it's that human side of business. You're also going to see the fact that I've got, that I may have grandkids or whatever. And that's an important part of my life. So make sure that you utilize that human side of your business, because that's really where we connect. And there is a right platform, but which one you choose depends on you. So let's talk about the different platforms and what are really the steps in determining the right platform to use. Well, it starts by identifying your audience, the demographics and the interests outside of your product and service. So make sure you understand your audience, who they are, what their likes are, what their interests are, what they're doing outside of your connection to you. And having that demographic is an important part of starting to know who to talk to. Secondly, then you want to define your goals. Now, obviously, our main goal is to drive sales, generate leads. Okay, got that. But there are other, we always need to look at that, how we reach that buying, how we reach people in every stage of that buying cycle, that sales funnel, if you will. It's important that not only do you want to drive sales, but that's at the bottom end of that funnel. You need to get people down to that point where they're ready to make the decision. And so part of that becomes brand recognition, people to understand who your business is, what you do. You want to grow that relationship with potential buyers. So if you can engage with people that have shown interest but aren't customers yet, then you nurture that relationship, and that's something else that that social media can do. And then customer support for your existing customers. Again, that's an important component of what you can do through your platform. And what are you trying to do through your platform? With that, those of you that were on the webinar last week, you heard me talk about the Google Chat plugin that you could add to your website. That's a good tool for customer support, because if people know you, find you, have questions about what you're doing, that's an instantaneous type of connection if they find you through that. So that's a good example of customer support. You want to research your competitors. What are your competitors? What are your main competitors, and what platforms are they using? If they're all on Instagram, it stands to reason they probably have a good result from Instagram, and that's maybe where you need to be. If they're on YouTube, then maybe that's again a case where you maybe need to be on YouTube. So look at your competitors and see where they're active and engaging. And in a lot of the platforms, you can actually see their engagement numbers. You can see how many liked or shared or commented. And so make sure that you understand that. Now, just because you see somebody maybe not on YouTube or not on Instagram does not mean you shouldn't be there. Okay. So yeah, that shows you where an audience is potentially hanging out. But if you have a unique proposition and maybe other people have not taken that plunge or made that commitment, then don't overlook a platform that you feel comfortable using because of that. I'll reference one of the people on the webinar today, Karen Garvin. Karen is a dog trainer, and she leaped into the video blog and is doing a weekly video. That's may not be comfortable for some people to do a weekly video, or a blog every week via video, but it's, if it works, and even just because other people aren't using it doesn't mean that you shouldn't be. So kind of weigh that competitor, thing out. And if you can find the niche that works for you, that's where you need to exploit it. And then find your audience. So where's your audience and what are the demographics and where are they hanging out? So let me pull up this particular graph that I ran across, and this is relatively current. I'm not sure exactly. It's within the last 12 months, probably, statistically. So just sort of give you the demographics of each of the major platforms. So if you look at Facebook, 2.23 billion active users, all ages pretty much covered in Facebook, although it's skewing the 20 somethings and down below are probably not there as much, but 53% of the demographics are female. You've got text, image, video, so you have all the different types of media that you can use there. A frequency, this says 1 to 3 posts a day. No, I don't agree with that number. I think for a business, if you're posting 2 to 3 times a week, value content, now I should say, if you're posting 2 to 3 times a week, I think you're fine with that. Great for promoting local events and building community. Low organic reach, that's the challenge really, because if you've got a business page, you've got 500 followers, the numbers say you're probably going to have maybe 10 people, maybe 30 people that see your content. So is it worth it? You got to do the trade, and there are ways to do that, and we'll talk about that in a future webinar. So, but that's the real problem, is the fact that it's and there's the strategy that I teach is post to your business page, share to your personal, and then that expands your reach. So business goal for that would be building a good community. YouTube, second most active platform, 1.9 billion. 62% male in YouTube. So once a week, how-tos, those are the things that YouTube is really good at. Obviously, the challenges are time. The challenges are time and resources. It's very intense for you to create content there. But if you get it down and you utilize some of the cheats and the tools that I've given you before, then you can do that. Coming in third is Instagram with 1 billion. 18 to 29 is the range of Instagram, but again, that number has skewed considerably higher. I actually think that number has probably shifted to where it's probably more in the 25 to 55 range, because the people are finding Instagram unfiltered. They're finding that it's a lot easier. There's less clutter, if you will. You definitely don't have the political and the divisive content that you see in Facebook. Once a day is a good posting for Instagram. Maybe you post 2 to 3 times a week on your Instagram feed, daily if you can on your Instagram stories. It does require creativity, and obviously it's a visual medium, so the creativity is the part that you really have to think about and utilize. LinkedIn, 590 million people, 56% male, 25 to 45 age range. Text with image is the primary post. It's great for business to business lead generation. the users aren't as active, but they are really reading. They're looking for ways to be educated and informed. So it's a thought leader is really the marketing goal for that. Twitter, 326 million people, all text. It's a fire hose if you get involved in Twitter, and I'll mention it a few times, but I don't really teach Twitter much anymore. It is so time intensive. You got to be posting on Twitter multiple times a day, 10 plus posts a day to really be effective. And it's really ideal for news and PR and communications and connections with influencers. So short lifespan doesn't, this stuff is, if somebody doesn't see it, if you're not posting when somebody's there, it's gone. So there's no going back. There's no finding it. And then Pinterest, the last one listed here, 250 million, female primarily 80%, median age is about 40. It's all images. It's great for e-commerce. It's great for driving traffic to blogs, but you need custom imagery to do that. So again, it's a visual medium. You've got to create visual content for that. So really, the biggest determining factor in what platform is ideal for you is what type of content are you planning on using? Or better stated, what content are you more comfortable using? So, if you're comfortable with video, then obviously YouTube, Instagram, the IGTV platform is great. Instagram has a new Reels program that they just launched, literally just launched it a week or two ago, as an answer to TikTok. And I'll talk about that one in a minute as well. Short form video. If you're comfortable with video, by all means, you need to be utilizing video as a source for content for you, and utilizing the platforms that do that. Now, obviously, Facebook also allows video, and LinkedIn also allows video. So all of the platforms pretty much accept video, but these are the biggies that you want to really think about. Live video is the other alternative. If you're really brave and you're really comfortable with it, go live. You can do live video on YouTube. You can do live video on Instagram or Facebook. And there's something about live video that really has some benefits, because live video, people feel like they're actually engaging. They're able to engage. They can respond in real time. And if you repurpose your content, then once it's shared, you still have the ability to go back and watch comments that people make. So live video is a powerful tool, especially in Facebook and Instagram. If you're comfortable with graphics, making funny graphics, finding interesting graphics, images, memes, anything of that nature, then Instagram obviously is the place to do that. Pinterest is another source for that. Facebook. You really, from a marketing standpoint, you shouldn't post anything in Facebook without an image. Image is going to stand out on your page much more prominently than a post without. And the numbers will show that. If you watch your insights and your analytics in Facebook, you'll see that posts with images are going to perform far better than posts that are just text. And carry that a step further, posts with video will perform even better. Okay, so keep that in mind. And then stories, that's really another avenue for stories as well. The videos, the fun things, the day in the life stuff, where it's photos you take, even using some of the filters that are available in either your camera or available in Instagram or Facebook stories. So if you're comfortable with that, creating that, and there's some good tools for that. Canva's a great tool for that. I think I talked about that in weeks past. So there's some great tools to be able to do that really, really quickly. Blogs. A blog is, to me, a cornerstone of your digital marketing strategy, because a blog is really your opportunity to demonstrate your expertise. Showcase your expertise and who you are, what you do well, how you can help your community. LinkedIn is a great place for that. Obviously, it's a terrific place for that. Facebook is another option for that as well. And then there's other sites out there outside of that. So if you take your blog and you do it like Karen is doing right now with as a video blog or a vlog, then now you're creating that content. Share it back to your website, share it to multiple sites that are like Quora and Reddit, places like that, that let you disseminate your content through other platforms. So, but the blog to me is really the cornerstone of your of what you're doing. And then if you've got, if you've got a humorous or a quirky or a fun side of, your personality and want to showcase that, obviously Instagram and Facebook are great places for that as well. And don't overlook that. You go, well, gosh, is that professional? If it's tastefully done, it's fun. People want, good grief, with Facebook, we get enough doom and gloom and morbidity and all that kind of stuff on there. It's like, oh my God, if I have to read another thing, I'm going to jump out the window or something. This is a breath of fresh air. When you get that funny, humorous, quirky little post, that's just like, oh God, it feels so good. So don't overlook that, and don't short that from a standpoint of being of value to your content. Okay, so let's talk about platforms for B2B, business to business marketers. So we think about LinkedIn obviously as the big one. 97% of social media leads. It generates 90% of social media leads. So far and away the big boy when it comes to generating leads for business to business users. Quality content gets the results. You can't just throw anything out there. It needs to be high quality, professional. So keep that in mind as you're using LinkedIn. From a standpoint of Twitter, it's great for brand awareness and reach, but the problem with Twitter, as I said before, it is a serious time commitment. It is a steady stream of content that you got to create. And for most people, it's not practical. For me, I can't tell you the last time I looked at Twitter. I'll take it back. I looked at it on Friday because I was posting content for a guy that does some cartooning type stuff and, political type cartoons. So I looked at it for him, but to find anything, it's just like open the fire hose and turn it on and try to get a drink out of it because you're going to drown. Facebook, from a standpoint of audience retargeting with paid ads, that's one of the ways you get around the reach limitation, the organic reach limitation, is you use some paid advertising, and you can really target businesses and target the executives. It's great for company research. It's a lot more personal. Again, it's a place to showcase the human side of your business, but you got to use it the correct way, and the fact that you need to post and then share to personal so that you get the reach out there and you can drive people back to your Facebook page. For business to consumer marketing, Facebook again has 97% of the B2C marketing. You've got such a wide variety of post options. You've got text, you've got video, you've got images, you've got carousel ads, you've got a wide selection of different things you can utilize there. So it's still, and because everybody's on Facebook, it's a great source. You can use paid ads to amplify your top performing content. So if you see content that actually did fairly well, then you may want to boost that post or create an ad around that post to expand the reach, and then thereby bring in people that may not be familiar with your business and who you are. Instagram for consumers is a fabulous tool. You need to post consistently. You need high quality images and videos, and you need to engage. and you've heard me talk about engagement before, and I preach that all the time. That's the key to any of the social media success, is the fact that you need to engage with your audience. But that, again, the consistency of post, if you can do an Instagram story every day, you're going to find a lot better results. But if you can just post to Instagram, 2 or 3 times a week, and then follow the engagement, then that's with something that's high quality. If that's what it takes to get quality post, great. Otherwise, if you're posting just because, well, Gary said I need to post, 3 times a week, and I don't have anything today, so I'll throw this out there. No, don't do that. It's just, do what you can do and create a content calendar that you can stick with. YouTube, 46% of marketers use YouTube for how-tos, vlogs, reviews, testimonials, a lot of different options for YouTube. But again, it's a valuable platform. LinkedIn is still good for B2C as well. 44% of 44% of marketers use LinkedIn for business to consumer. But it needs to be high quality professional content and no sales. Do not sell on LinkedIn. You're going to shoot yourself in the foot, and there's no need to be there if you're going to try to pitch your stuff. Pitch your expertise, pitch your professionalism, not sales. They'll come. LinkedIn's working professionals. If your audience is working professionals, highly educated, 30 to 55 years of age, then there's a good chance that you can find them and touch them on LinkedIn. Got visual? Well, that's the key for businesses that can provide visual content. It's ideal for creative businesses, real estate, interior design, e-commerce are just a couple of things that come to mind. Anything that you can showcase in a visual realm is going to be, you really should be taking advantage of that. My business is visual in a way, but it's not truly, because how many times can I just, show, well, here's a new website that I did, here's a new whatever. So I have to rely on the video side of it from the educational standpoint and from the training side of things to showcase my business. So you can still use it even if you're not a highly visual business. So that's where the education comes in with the how-tos. So I utilize, again, dog trainers, landscapers, auto repair, contractors. Training and utilizing that teaching through visual content is really where that comes into play. Because if you sit down and tell me how to build how to replaster a wall, I'm not going to remember. You tell me, I'm going to go, okay. So step 1 was what? I'm not going to remember. But if I've got a video and I can watch the visuals, then I'm going to do it. And we've probably all done that at some form. Instagram, easy to build followers, better visibility than Facebook. So definitely has the advantage there from a standpoint of the reach that you can get through Instagram. Instagram stories, they're quick, behind the scenes, a day in the life type stuff. So that's really where Instagram stories comes into play. And then Facebook, again, we've already talked about the audience retargeting with paid ads. So those are some of the things you do there. One of the questions I get all the time is, should I post the same content everywhere? And just because you can doesn't mean you should. Would you talk, let's say you're in a business presentation of some kind. Would you talk to a baby boomer the same way you talk to a Gen X or Y? Probably not, because it's like I'm talking Greek to one person and Swahili to another. It may not even be a language anymore. I don't know. But it's speaking 2 different languages. And so we got to talk to the audience that we got to talk in the language that they understand. So if you're posting the same content on multiple platforms, you're not going to be able to use that same language, and that you may not have the same audience there. The platform specs vary. So caption links, the image formatting, Facebook is horizontal video and images. Instagram is vertical. YouTube has a different length on their platform. Hashtags are different on each one, the length and all that. So if you try to one size fits all, the thing that kind of bothers me, and not bothers me, but I just see it as kind of ineffective. I'd never use hashtags on my Facebook post because I don't use them for a search standpoint, and most people don't. However, if I'm going to use it if I'm going to post on Instagram, I'm going to use hashtags because they are much more powerful. So, it's things like that that you look at from the content standpoint. Your followers aren't all the same. And even if your followers are on multiple platforms, you don't want to be like, that was the story my kids always tell. And I've heard, I've told it before too. Forgive me if you've heard the story before, or I'll call, if it's my kids, I'll go, well, it's a grampy moment, which is what they call my dad, because he would tell the same story over and over again. So you're telling the same story, the same place, the same way on multiple channels. It's like, yeah, I've heard this before. You can tell the same story, just spin it so that you get the same meaning, the same context, but the message changes. Okay, so you can utilize the same concept, just don't say it the exact same way. So let's look at the social media platforms and just kind of an overview real quick. Facebook is emotion driven. It's people connecting with others. So that's what you get there. Twitter is a source for news and live updates and events. It's trending topics. LinkedIn is a place for learning. Users come to expand their expertise in LinkedIn. Instagram is photos, videos, and messages. So you're creating shareable content. The idea with LinkedIn is to create content that other people will share for you. So you create brand advocates through what you're creating. YouTube, how-to guides, instructional videos, tips and tricks. Those are all some of the major things there. Interesting little stat, and I won't go through all of this, but it's sort of, if you look at this and just sort of glance at this, you'll see that there are overlaps between the platforms. So if you look at the categories, so this is Facebook users, and then there's 3.4% of Facebook users that don't use other platforms, strictly Facebook. 92% of those Facebook users use YouTube, 74 Instagram, 18% use Reddit, 31 Snapchat, 53 Twitter, 29 use TikTok, and 35 use Pinterest. So you can kind of see through here the content of who uses what platforms. And so it's kind of interesting. Consistency, 90+% of social media platform users use YouTube. A big chunk of those people use, 80+% for most everybody use Instagram. So that's why I'm a big proponent of Instagram, and I think it really is a value right now. Who's to say what it'll be in the future? But right now, I think it's a good value. But there is some overlap between the platforms. Pros and cons of each of the ones. I think we've talked about a lot of these, but this of Facebook. A huge reach, target audiences, great customer interaction, but little control over it takes consistent effort. The reach is limited, and your page can get suspended for the least little thing. So you get you get Facebook jail and for anything that they consider outside of the realm. And I've seen some ridiculous things get suspended. So makes you a little bit nervous. Instagram, highly appealing visual content, more popular with a younger generation, and it's ideal for mobile. The metrics on Instagram don't always tell you the same thing, and you do need an aggressive posting schedule for that. For Twitter, easy to engage followers and influencers, free targeting with the hashtag or the @ but a lot of noise we've already talked about, and requires a lot of energy. So that's a big con for me on Twitter. LinkedIn, a lot of active users, great for promoting business-related content, networking. It's really not designed for e-commerce. It's not. It has traction of the users compared to to the other platforms. So it does have some pros and cons there as well. And then YouTube. Videos drive more conversion, a great way to show off your brand's personality. Videos nicely complement other marketing strategies, but if you're not comfortable with videos, they can take a long time to produce. Users have a high expectation for audiovisual quality, and it can be difficult if you're in a competitive niche. It can be difficult to rank your videos and get them to pull up. That's why I utilize them across platforms. I use them on my website as well as on social media sites. Last thing we want to talk about is I just want to mention the new kid on the block. That's TikTok. It is short form video sharing. It's 15-second videos. A lot of the things you see on TikTok are challenges, dance videos, magic tricks, funny videos, lip sync. That's really what TikTok was built around, a platform called Musical.ly, which TikTok absorbed. They've been a lot of the news lately. They're a Chinese company, and you may have heard that Trump is trying to ban the TikTok app in the United States, and now Microsoft has weighed in as a potential buyer. Apple's also been a potential buyer for TikTok, so be interesting to see what happens with that over the next few months. The problem with the app is the fact that the data that they collect, that's been the objection to TikTok and the data that it's collecting on users. Lots of fresh, interesting, unique content. So it's definitely, and it's growing like crazy. But to really have a successful marketing standpoint, you got to post multiple videos every day. So for most small businesses, it's not practical. It's brands where they can hire a brand manager to create content. That's a different story. But I mention it because there's a lot of talk about it lately. So the bottom line: focus on the backbone of your digital marketing footprint, and that's your website. Before anything else, create an anchor point with your website, because all of your social media sites should drive your audience back to your website. Without that, if you're trying to do everything on social media, you're missing the point. Social media comes and goes. The effects of it, the limitations and potential loss of your whole marketing plan should a platform change hinges on diversifying, and you really want to get people off the platform and into your website or your blog. The blog to me is a critical piece, because that is, again, content that stays permanent. You can do a video blog. You can do a video and post it on social media sites, but it goes away. It doesn't live forever out there. It does, but it's, finding it is nearly impossible. But on your blog, it stays put forever. And so again, driving traffic to your website and your blog are key components of your digital footprint. Choose one platform. If you're really just kind of wading into the water now, choose one platform and focus on it. Don't try to do multiples. If you're comfortable with videos, you maybe do Instagram and cross over to YouTube. Maybe do, maybe if you're B2B and you want to create some content, some blog content, try LinkedIn. And you can, if you want to attempt videos at some point in LinkedIn, you can do that. But choose one platform to focus on and get that down before you add others. And I don't really have a slide in here for that, but I do want to also say, watch for the platform du jour. Your trade publications and things like that are going to talk about, oh my gosh, TikTok is the greatest thing, and it's, people are making millions of dollars in TikTok and all that. Great, but is it for you? And just because somebody else is out there, are you going to really create the content plan and really stick to it and be able to dedicate your effort to a new platform as opposed to one that was already kind of proven and working? So don't jump around. And then take it offline. You need an email list. If you don't have an email list, you need an email list. If you don't have an email list, start building one now. Again, the goal of all your platforms is to take your content offline and get them into a place that you control, because email is the only one that you do. So there's the bottom line. Basically, pick the platform that works for you. Try one, see what works, and give it some serious effort. If you go in and just sort of half-heartedly attempt it, then you're going to go, well, it didn't really work. Well, yeah, it didn't, because you don't really put the effort into it, the correct effort. So as always, just my contact information. Feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions. If anybody has any questions, feel free to pop those in the chat box or in the Q&A box, and I will answer those if you have anything. Otherwise, you guys have a great weekend. As I said earlier, stay cool, stay hydrated. It's going to be warm this weekend. So, but once again, hope this was helpful, and I will see you guys next week. When I have a new topic. I'll have to figure what my topic is, but I will have a new topic next week, and we will go from there. Let's see. I think I had one chat question here, or did we? Oops, chat question. Where did my chats go? Must be hidden. Oh, here we go. Okay. Thank you guys for coming, and we will see you next time.